Good morning, everyone. And I'm sharing today a little bit of the progress on my third book, which is going to be about the enlightenment journey and what it feels like becoming, improving awareness and getting closer to the level of enlightenment, as close as I could possibly get, so that I could write my third book. I've been writing about, collecting my writing about this book now for about 3-4 months. I started right after I finished Brooklyn Winded, which was approximately February of this year. I self-published Brooklyn Winded, my second book. It was shortly after my father passed away, and I'm not sure of the significance of the timing of that, but that's interesting that it happened at that time. And years back, my first book was Brooklyn Wind, which I wrote and self-published when my wife and I had become empty nesters, and we moved back to Brooklyn, and I had a really hard time with the empty nest syndrome, as well as being back in Brooklyn. So I kind of birthed this book, which was nice because it got me started on my journey. And now I'm on my third one, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's very intense, and I appreciate sharing it, being able to share it now with the internet where it's gotten today, to have so many platforms to share with other people. I'm learning from other people more than ever because of the access that we have now on the internet. Other than writing, I do a lot of reading simultaneously while I put my thoughts together and wait for the inspiration to come. The inspiration takes a while, and there's a lot of background work that I know a lot of people, especially other artists, like to compare and get ideas from. I certainly like to do that. There are many artists that I randomly find on YouTube or Instagram that I occasionally get great inspiration from. It could be just periodically, or it could be throughout the year or throughout a long time, but the inspiration's there, and there's a lot of it out there, and I really appreciate it, and I hope that I can contribute to it, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So the other books that I'm reading simultaneously now while I'm working on my third book, I juggle various books, but the ones in the forefront right now, there's one that I found on a walk recently with my family. It was left on the curb. There are a lot of books are left on the curbs here in, I don't know if this is like a national hobby, but there are a lot of books left on the curbs of Brooklyn, and I really enjoy finding the books on casual walks outside. A part of me feels like I treat it almost like an urban Ouija board, and that the books that are there are meant to be there for me. I'll come across some titles sometimes that are, kind of mysterious and telling me something. And many of my favorite books that I've found on the curbs have been on the curb, on the sidewalks, and they have become my favorite books. They also give me a lot of insight and inspiration. One of the ones recently I found that I'm reading several now is, I think it's called Nate Can. It's by Greg Kreck. I found this on on a sidewalk in Queens. And the other books I'm reading that I did not find on the sidewalk, but one was a gift from my wife. She purchased this used book for me, The Soul's Code in Search of Character and Calling. I'm really enjoying the insights, inspiration in this book as well. I'm also presently reading the Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. I'm also reading a couple of other of her books that I have downloaded on the Brooklyn and New York Public Library apps, which are great resources. The library apps are fantastic because you can read a lot of books that way. The other book that I read every summer is Herman Melville, Moby Dick. This is, I had purchased this probably about 20 years ago, and I read it every summer. It's a difficult book to read, but there's something about the quality of the writing that I find very attractive. So it's really enjoyable. It gives me chronic pleasure to read it. It's very dense, very well written, and it gives me a lot of inspiration. I think there's so much to it that I can't quite explain. But I do enjoy reading it every year, even though I can barely tell you anything about it. It's weird that way, but this is another book that I'm reading. And then the other thing that I have to mention that I consider a book that's not a book is the Hobonichi planners. I find that these are, I consider these books that emerge into a story of my life as I fill them out as the years go by. The Hobonichi was introduced to me by my wife, and I cannot thank her enough for it. It's become my favorite, one of my favorite books. It's blank, and I fill it in with my daily things that I learn. It also has great quotes at the bottom of various pages throughout that I find really inspirational. I just opened to a random one right now, so I'll just read it and take it as a message. It's called Watching the Olympics. Every athlete in the Olympics has a personal goal. Isn't that kind of wonderful, whether it is Usain Bolt's goal to break 9.58 seconds or a first-time competitor's goal to place in a race, or someone else's to just finish or compete in a race. It is all the same thing, and amazingly that extends to you and me as well. This is just a perfect example of the kind of inspiration that the creators of Hobonichi have accomplished, and it is just a beautiful reminder every time I use this planner about how there are so many people that really want to inspire all of us to be our best and to find our potential and make it a reality. So that's really good. But this is all just kind of like a sharing of the swirl of things that that I may not notice unless I'm doing kind of a video like this, that are all kind of combining and contributing to the essence of the work that actually gets written out. And one of the fine-tuning aspects of my writing has been to a parallel self-help, kind of self-improvement path. And a big influence right now is the Jane Roberts books, because she stresses in the books the importance of looking inside of ourselves and getting the inspiration and direction that we all have it. And now when I sit to write, I take more time to kind of wait and let the information, download so that I can get it down on the paper and collect it. I originally thought, I'm going to wait and not share anything until the book is out, kind of thing. But now I'm really enjoying the process of sharing the thought process and the mechanics involved while I'm putting the book together. And my hope is that someone or many who like the process and want to compare what they're doing to others find my work and find inspiration in it. So my latest entry into the third book this morning was about generally they're just thoughts about how I can incorporate the enlightenment journey into this book. And there's a lot of components involved. One of them is understanding kind of the subtle aspects there of what's involved in enlightenment. And so this morning I just kind of thought I'm just going to write down what is a part of this journey. And this is what I came up with. So it's a random kind of thought, and one of the many that are involved in thinking about these kind of levels of awareness and as they come. And every time I sit to write, it's like there's a date on the top, and I'm always thinking, I should date it. How long am I going to write? When was it written? The year, the month? And then I thought that's actually a big part of it. It's the way we measure things. Like right now I'm taping this and there's a time on top. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, what's going to happen to all this video footage out there when, we move on past 200, 300 years from now, our generations, what's going to happen to all this information. So all of this is constantly running through my mind, and I'm not really getting an answer, but it's all very interesting. So I kind of wrote a little bit about that. So this is unedited, and it went something like this. I wrote, what is the meaning of a date? Its purpose, and what caused it to come into being. How do I ever begin to measure something like that? And do I even want to try? It gets further broken up or down to the next concept, which is time. Then there is the contrast of it all. There are memories, projections, all of it making the now basically elusive. Measurements are one of the methods that have been developed to organize many things. There are numbers involved in measuring, and this is all a kind of mathematics. According to Tennessee Tech, quote, mathematics is the science and study of quality, structure, space, and change, end quote. Basically, mathematics structures and organizes our life. Buildings and bridges stand partly because of mathematics. Life works and things get accomplished in great part because of mathematics. And understanding many things relies on mathematics. It seems that it is both a tool that makes life functional and attempts to describe and explain it. Seemingly concrete and conservative, though, math is just as mysterious and liberal as abstract art. mathematics can accomplish and measure physical reality just as accurately as art can represent what we think of as being real. Math and art are both limited in actually accurately capturing the mystical dimensions that lie within us. I can see and measure a table. I can draw it and say what its dimensions are. And science can tell me that it is made up of invisible atoms. However, there is a part of the table that cannot be seen or touched or understood by math, science, or art, but it can only be known. This kind of knowledge can only be confirmed because it is the only thing that does not have proof. And it could be that this lack of proof may be the only element that may deem something to be a reality. So I ended my entry today. This is definitely going to make it into I could feel that this will make it into my third book, because my books generally have these interesting conclusions. And this one is that a lack of proof seems to be an element that deems something to be a reality. It's kind of goofy, but it was kind of the same thing. My conclusion in Brooklyn Winded, I realized I was trying to talk about in Brooklyn Winded what the truth is, seeking truth, and I found that the only proof I could find of something that was truth was that everyone has an opinion about something, and that was the only thing while writing this book that I could prove to be the truth. And then in Brooklyn Wind, I was having a lot of internal conflict about belonging, and so there's a lot of elements in here about belonging, and my conclusion here was that really there is no authentic home, that there should just be one home where we all belong as a universe. That is our home, but that structurally these boundaries that create ideas of where we should belong are not accurate. And therefore I use Brooklyn as an analogy, I call in the book a blessed homelessness, because it taught me personally that even though I was born and grew up here, I never really felt a sense of having a place where I belong, because symbolically and almost realistically speaking, in a way, Brooklyn is kind of a home for everybody, and it kind of negated my kind of search for a feeling of, what is my home? Where do I belong? So that was my conclusion in that book. And it seems like the idea of not having a proof of something makes it real seems to be probably where the entire third book is going to be hovering around and talking about things like that, because enlightenment, awareness, all that involves things that are just beyond what we can physically see. And I find those things very interesting, because I tend to think through everything almost to a fault, and I don't think that what we actually perceive on a day-to-day basis is complicated enough to be real. I think it cannot be that obvious that a table is a table, and that there's more to what we see. And that's what I like looking into and thinking about. I appreciate the the opportunity to be a poet and a writer, so that I can search, deep into these subjects. And I thank you for letting me share my writing entry today, and I hope that you got some inspiration from it. I'm not getting a lot of comments yet. I'm getting a few views. I would love some comments, but I know it's hard to make comments. Sometimes I follow certain people on YouTube and listen to a lot of what they have to say and become very inspired by it. And I want to make a comment, but I just don't know quite what to say. I want to sound intelligent. I want to sound interested. So many times if I find it really good and inspirational and enlightening, and I just don't know what to say, at least what I do is I will leave a sun. And that's kind of my way of saying, hey, that's really, what I heard was really inspirational. So if you get a sun from me, that means that I really found what you said to be pretty profound, or what you did. So that's one of the things that I do. And I just want to go on and on and on, but I don't know what the right length is. So I'm really happy to have done, let's say that's 21 minutes and 25 seconds so far. I like freestyle, so nothing is kind of choreographed or staged. And I'll probably add some links, so that if there's anything that you found interesting, it would be easy for you to link to and purchase, which would be great. And I appreciate any of the support I could get. And have a great day. Thank you.